I think operational efficiency gives us so much space for improvement and can actually really help tackle maritime emissions. I don't know much about car carriers. What's the average speed that you sail at? So speed's
So
a
can
huge.
you just repeat that because it wasn't in the
16
mic?
knots.
16 knots.
Okay.
It used to be 19.
Exactly. So, I mean, with regards to speed, as you know, by increasing a vessel's speed from, say, Rotterdam to Piraeus by 20%, you have a 44% increase in emissions. Technology and energy-saving devices are great, but they usually lead to a single-digit saving. Whereas by curbing our speed, we can actually make a huge immediate change to shipping's, maritime emissions. And there are steps made in the right direction. So EPL, I think, is kind of promising, but in my opinion, it's way too timid. We need something that's much more widespread and much more decisive.
Right.
And
But this comes at a cost to you, right, commercially, if you go slower.
I think the planet can afford to slow down, and there are many proponents of that argument, right? And the second element, which would make a huge difference, and you know this very well because you built a tech company on this premise, is hull performance, right? And as my dad, who's a naval engineer, has successfully brainwashed me to say, for every 100 microns of roughness, you get a 10% increase in your emissions. That's huge. So, and obviously, like sensors can help, underwater cleaning can help, new coatings can help, but there's nothing that returns the hull to its original smoothness.
Yeah.
Think of Michael Phelps in a supersuit versus Michael Phelps covered in barnacles, struggling to swim through warm water, right? So, the best way to prevent hull fouling in the first place is to tackle vessel idleness. Stamatis and I both know that we often end up having ships waiting around in, say, a Brazilian warm water port for 30 days. By the end of the 30th day, these ships are covered in evil barnacles that affect their speed and therefore their environmental efficiency. So it seems to me that the easiest way for the IMO to help reduce our global emissions would be to say that, okay, after a certain number of days, you have to move around within the vicinity. This would obviously mean that we'd have to change port regulations, we'd have to negotiate our charter parties a bit, we'd have to perhaps amend insurance cover, but you would have an immediate saving. I think what I'm trying to say is that efficiency has a lot of nitty-gritty and a lot of regulation. It's not as sexy as ammonia, but it could help us save the planet, and it could do so with immediate